Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss an example for explicit intent. Before we get into the layouts or the programming part, let me show you something which I've made from an explicit intent, and then we will discuss how do we actually make it. So here's an app which I've made. I like watching football, and these are some five footballers of our times uh, who you see on the screen right now. And whenever I click on any of these footballers, I get to know more about them. This is David Beckham. Beckham, like many other celebrities nowadays, is a tattoo fanatic. So basically, what I've done is for all these five footballers, I have noted down what all tattoos do they have. So probably it is kind of an idea that you can also have for an app to make an app about footballers and how exactly are they in their personal life or what exactly their persona is like, right? So that was one. Then second one is Ronaldo. Here also you have some description about his lifestyle. Then third one is Maradona. So let's see how do we make this app work. One thing which you noticed here is that whenever I click on one of these footballers, there's a new screen which comes up and the old screen goes away. So this is what exactly an explicit intent can do for you. If you want to shift from one screen to another screen, explicit intent is the way. So let's see how do we make it happen. So to start with, I created an empty activity in my Android Studio, and this is what I get. There's a main activity file which also has activity underscore main.xml with it. What I need to do is here is that first I have to create my first screen, which will be responsible for showing me five of those buttons, basically image buttons, which when clicked take you to a new activity wherein you can show the bigger picture of the same footballer and some description for the footballer, right? So as of now, we can see there's just hello world written here, and I need to work on this. So what I will do is I'll go to text. I'll remove this text view, which is hello world. I will also change the relative layout, which is a default layout given to me by Android Studio, to linear layout, and to make sure that everything comes in one straight line, one below the another, I will introduce orientation as vertical, right? First things first, I have to understand that I need five images, because if you look into the my app which I had made, there were five buttons here, right? These actually are buttons. These are called image buttons. A simple button which has got an image over it. So I need to add these five buttons here, which are called image buttons. Let me go and start typing them. I'll say wrap content, SRC. Now, what is SRC? SRC is like if you have worked with image views, SRC basically tells me from where to fetch the image. So for a button also, I'll have to do the same thing. I have gone to internet and fetched, downloaded these five images, which you see here, A, B, C, D, E, in PNG format, which I'm going to use here. Also, because it's a button, I will put on click attribute here, and I will name this on click attribute as A. After this, I will copy this and make five five image buttons. Of course, I have to change the name and the source of the images, because then only then I will get different images for different footballers. Yeah. So now let's see how does the design look. Oh, it looks very big. I need to shrink the size because wrap content is not doing a good job for me here. What is happening is that the images are actually very big. So let us make them 100 dp by 100 dp. So what this will do is it will make sure that every image has the same size, and we don't have to worry about how do the buttons align themselves. Yeah. Let's see how does it look now. Much better, much better. Uh, so now we have 5 buttons here, and I just need to now start the coding part because I have the layout, proper layout. So what do we think about coding now? As you can see that I have been able to make the first screen. Every time I click on one of these buttons, it should take me to another screen. So that basically means that if I have to take it to another screen, I will have to have 5 more screens. Now, obviously, there can be other ways also. You can use, like going forward, we will also be discussing fragments and all, wherein you don't need to take your user to another new screen. But let's say in this case, you do want to take them to another screen. And because we are discussing explicit intent, that's what an intent does. We will be discussing how to make that happen. So for that, what you require is there have to be 5 more activities to be created for each one of these. All of these activities will have their one of their image view and a text view, which will have the description of all these players. And that's about it. So let's see how do we do that. Yeah, so now as discussed, we will go to our package and create a new activity, which will be an empty activity. I will name it as A finish. So once my one of my new activities got created, I similarly created 4 more activities B, C, D, E, and I also got their relative their layouts to be used. Now let's start working on these layouts. I go to my activity A layout. I'll change this to linear because linear is better in this case. Relative will take a lot of time. Orientation vertical. First thing is image view. The footballer's image, which I would like to see there. I'll put it as 200 dp, and we will keep 200 dp as constant for all the footballers. I will also have to name the source of my image, and that's it. After this below image view, I would like to have a text view wherein I will be writing down whatever I require to be written down below the image, right? Now here in a text view, what we do is we type attribute text, and then we can type whatever we want to type here. In my case also, that's what I've done. I went to internet, I copy pasted some text about the footballers and typed it here. Let's say it is image 1 that I'm going to type here. All right. Similar thing needs to be done for rest for footballers. Control C. I will also have to make sure that I don't use, I change this to linear layout in all my layouts. I will change the source also, image 2. Now we are working on the third one. Third one is ready. to the fourth one. So I have been able to complete the 5 layouts. Let's see how do they look. Yeah, image 1, then layout 2 is this, layout 3 is like this, layout 4, and layout 5. All right. So now the only thing that is remaining is the coding part, wherein we take care of how do we move our user from this screen to one of these screens, whichever is clicked by the user. Now let's go to our main activity and see what all needs to be done. We reach to our main activity and we see that there is this activity underscore main which we changed, right? This is where we brought our 5 image buttons so that we could see the image buttons and users could click it. Now first things first, if I go and visit any of these image buttons, I see that I have already put an on-click attribute there, and this talks about a method called A, B, C respectively, so as to reach the new screens where we will be showcasing our footballers and their text, right? So this A, B, C, D, E, capital ones, upper cases, are actually just methods which I need to declare here. Public void A, view B. We will import the libraries. You import the libraries in a Windows environment by pressing Alt and Enter together. Now you see here, this is a method which I have defined in the XML file. Public void A is the name of the method, which tallies with what we have written in the layout. View is the class, and V is the object of the class. Every time a user clicks on one of these buttons, this method gets called, and the image view, because we know that button is also a kind of view only, right? So the view gets passed to this as an input parameter, and whatever is written inside this method gets executed. So here what we will do is, now we will introduce the concept of explicit intent. So an explicit intent only helps us to take our user from one screen to another screen. Intents are written like this: intent there's a class called intent, right? Intent I1 is equal to new intent. This is very similar to any declaration that you will make for making any other object of any other class. Now we need 2 input parameters here. The first parameter is going to be the context, which is the current context that the user is in. So right now we are going to pass in this here, which basically means that right now the user is at the main activity. And where does the user want to go from here? The user has to be taken to the screen A, because that is where our footballer is, right? The name of the class and the Java file that you've made, dot class. This is very important to put a dot class here. And then we write start activity and give the intent name. That's it. This will work for us and give us the transition from one screen to another. I will copy this and do this for rest of the other screens. So here you can see that I've done it for 4 other screens, and now we are good to go and test this app. How does this look? Here is what I have got. This is what my app is right now. Let's try and see what happens. I clicked on second. That's right, Ronaldo. Now if I go to my first, let's click on Messi. This is also fine. I have got text view also and image view also here, so that I can make any changes here if I want to. So this app is looking fine. We have been able to create an example for explicit intent. Now in our next session we will be looking at implicit intent, how great these intents are and how easy they make our lives. Until then, see you. Bye bye.